I'm always talking about nutrition, and I've seen so many posts lately about, I'm eating healthy, or people tell me, oh, I'm eating healthy, I'm getting my protein, because that's what we think eating healthy is. And that is like a relatively new focus. And truthfully, I think the focus came from supplement companies and from false information in the past. We actually, when I was in medical school, I learned about protein deficiency as a thing. But recently, I went back and I was doing some research about it. And the idea of protein deficiency came from, when treating people during famines. And the truth is, it wasn't actually protein deficiency. It's calorie deficiency, when you're not getting enough calories from foods, right? If you don't get enough calories, you don't get enough protein. If you're eating whole, unprocessed foods, every living thing is made of protein. So if you're eating enough calories and you're eating a variety of different types of whole foods, you will get enough protein. So just going to put that aside. But the thing is, most Americans don't get enough fiber. And I will tell you that the majority of the illnesses that we are seeing, chronic illnesses that are rising, including obesity, which I don't like to focus on obesity as a disease because I think it's a sequela related to lifestyle, but don't come for me. But I think that the problem is, so things like diabetes, colon cancer, mood disorders, heart disease, dementia, all of these things are related to the quality of the food that we eat, and particularly fiber. And fiber is found in plant foods, and that's what we don't consume enough of. Fruits and vegetables, whole grains, beans and legumes, nuts and seeds. And so the average American gets probably 10 to 12 grams of fiber. I challenge you to see how much fiber you consume on a daily basis. You can use MyFitnessPal, or even just plug it into Google at this point. You can plug it into ChatGPT, plug in your meals for the day, and tell me how much fiber you get over the course of the day. I'm going to do it myself too, because we often think, we take for granted, like, a serving of fruits and vegetables. Our servings are much smaller than our servings of meats and other, non-plant foods. So we really need to consume much more of that than what you think. So eating more fruits and vegetables, whole grains, beans and legumes, nuts and seeds, those are the foods that have fiber in them. Meat and dairy don't have fiber in them. Eggs don't have fiber in them. So the way I look at it, what I tell my patients is to look at your plate and see where you could add more color. Not from Skittles, but more color. So, if you're having eggs, maybe you can have some spinach with it. Maybe you can have some avocado. Maybe you can so just looking where you can add more and start to gradually build it up. So the minimum that most Americans should consume is 25 grams for women and 35 grams for men. And you know what? That's actually much lower than what we should be consuming. So it's a good starting point, but actually the goal should be much more. So, you can raise it. If you get up to 60 grams, it is life-changing. So that is what I recommend, increasing your fiber intake. So for example, there was one cardiologist podcast consuming 90 grams of fiber a day. That's insane. Nobody regularly, you really have to concentrate to do that. But you can get up to 25 to 30 grams pretty easily. When you go above that, you really have to focus on adding more. Beans are really high in fiber. Chia seeds, flax seeds, things like that also have high fiber in them. Berries, my favorite. I think everybody should have berries every day. They're really good for your brain health. So all of these things actually can make a huge difference in your health overall. Lower your cholesterol, stabilize your blood sugar, support a healthy weight, decrease your risk of dementia. So fiber is king, not protein. Hope this helps. Let me know.